Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's reads. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them, of course. This is on channel James13 Wicca on YouTube, of course. For the main part of the reading for the tarot part, I'm using a deck by Denise Jarvie, artwork by Tony Carmine Salerno. Here's the front. The Art of Love Tarot. Skipped a beat on that one, didn't I? The website is blueangelonline.com if you want to check it out. It's there at the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. Supportive Oracle Cards, Spellcasting Oracle Cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lizbeth. There are their full names down there if you want to see how to spell them correctly. There's also a few websites on the back here. SheWhoIsArt.com always sticks out to me. Whatever works for you, go ahead and search that deck down if you're interested, of course. And for the dice, the game dice I use are from MathArtFun.com, which were a gift, which I'm very thankful for. So if you want, I have a 22-sided dice. I use 22 as 0, so I just, there's 21 cards, including, 22, including the Fool. Instead of 0, I use 22 for the Fool. A 14-sided dice for the card for the Minor Arcana, and then a 4-sided dice for the element that goes with it. That's what I have for that. Alright, that being said, if you want a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and let's go into your reading. Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Taurus? You got the Queen of Wands in the past. Okay. The reason that's kind of stammering me a little bit, Virgo, I think, had that too, which fire is not usually compatible with earth. That's not always the case, depending on your chart, but fire is not usually compatible with earth. So there's something here that is in the past that I'm feeling would probably be better to stay in the past, but that's up to you. Let's see what's coming forward. Because I'm getting Queen of Wands in the past, and I'm getting like this is a past influence. This is no longer here. Don't get caught up in the gender. It does feel like it's definitely a person. Somebody who it doesn't mean they were a bad person. In fact, they probably were a pretty good person, more than likely. But they definitely didn't do the things. They didn't do the things the way you would do the things. They didn't do the things you wanted them to do. That's for sure. There might have been half-done things. There might have been quick changes. There might have been something of walking away. But this is an energy that I feel like it was addictive at the time, but once it was over, it's kind of like, yeah, I like my life better without this energy in it. I don't think this was a bad person. It's just like the way they live life, the way you live life, it caused a lot of problems. And maybe there's enough distance from this connection that looking back now, I'm like, I can see where they weren't a bad person, but I definitely don't want that energy in my life again. There's also a lot of things where I still don't understand some of the things that happened. I still don't understand some of the things that were done or not done. And I still look back and I'm like, you know what, that's not something I want to repeat. I don't feel like I have access to get those answers. Even if I ask that person directly, I feel like they could tell me what they think, like the reason they think they did what they did or how things worked out. But there was so much going on that I don't even think that they know why they did what they did. And in fact, they may not even remember half of the things that I remember. You probably have that connection. Like, yeah, they probably don't even have the ability to recall it the way I recall it. I could ask them things, but it may not have even registered to them that they did that. Okay, so that being said, is something coming in? Because you got the Knight of Cups coming up, and you got the Ten of Cups, and you got the Three of Swords all at once. And the question of, like, do you want this in your life or not? That's a question. King of Cups coming in question. No, that's the Temperance card coming in. And then the Four of Cups reversed. Am I even going to give this a chance is what I'm getting. I like how my life is. I like how my life is. And there's something coming forward, and it feels like it's good. And I'm not questioning who it is in the sense of, like, if they're a good person or a bad person. But I'm like, does this even really match my life? Am I even going to give this a chance to move forward? Because it does fit in. It does seem like it matches. But I'm not really sure that this is correct for me. Just because this person's a good person doesn't mean they match me. And it doesn't have to be a romantic thing, by the way. This could be a business situation. This could be a business offer, a job offer. Something like that. Could be a real estate thing for some of you for some reason. Just because it's good doesn't mean it's for me. And I keep getting that over and over again. You do have the ability to step back and not lose this. So, you know, you can't, I feel like you know that. Not with everything in life is this an option where you can just sit back and go, I'll think about it for a while. Some things you can sit back and think about it, but by the time you make your decision, it defaulted to a no because it moved on. This doesn't seem to be one of those situations. You have a minute to think about it. You have a minute to decide, do I want this? Do I really think that I could get something out of it? And that's the Oracle card saying, yeah, there is something really good here that you could have, but is this worth your time to actually go through it and figure that out? And the question is, are you considering it even? You might not even be considering it. Maybe that's what they're saying with the prosperity and the Knight of Pentacles here. Trees are earth pentacles, all that same thing. In case you're wondering. Judgment could go in your favor. Seven of Pentacles too. Need some time to sort it out, but you got to actually try to sort it out. There's a danger with this situation that you might not even consider it. For good reason. Kind of like, I'm not going to waste my time on every little opportunity because not every opportunity is for me. And if I'm looking at it quick and I'm like, oh, I remember that, I'm not going to do it, I can understand why you wouldn't even consider it. But I feel like this is trying to edge you closer to considering this option, whatever this is. For those of you this reading is going to hit with, I feel like it's in the forefront of your brain. Like, you'll probably realize what this is talking about. If not, give it a day. It'll pop in if it matters. Because I feel like some of you are going to watch this and be like, it seems like I need to watch this, but I'm not really catching on to why. That's fine. Give it a day. It'll just it might even show up in a dream where you wake up and go, oh yeah, that's what that was talking about. Something like that. We good? All right, so going forward, if you're willing to give this just a thought, okay, the Ace of Pentacles does show up. It does show up in the sense of, like, you have a chance to create something here that could come forward, and it's going to, Ace of Pentacles, that's your jam. That's kind of like, all right, we're going to plant this, we're going to tend to it, we're going to grow it slowly, we're going to have it work this way, I'm going to tend to it, I'm going to prune it. If I don't like what it's doing, I'm going to, like, try to fix it and reshape it, that type of thing. I'm going to be able to plant it where I want it. That's the base energy coming forward. Now, what this is also saying is, like, to not do this on your own. Taurus is a leader energy, so it makes sense why you would lead. Totally makes sense, but they're saying, don't look at this in the sense of, like, all right, this is where it's going to go here, and when it gets there, then I'm going to put it here, and then when it gets that far, I'm going to move it over that way, and then if this goes as planned, and all these things play out the way I want them to do, as long as they do it as well as I want them to, then I'm going to apply it here. Don't do all the planning yourself. That's the trick with this situation. And I understand why that might be like your knee-jerk reaction to just, that's just how I do. If you want the success from this situation, I feel like this is odd that I'm going to say this. They're saying go kind of towards the conflict with the Five of Wands and then the Empress. Work this out. Whoever you're dealing with, especially if it's like a connection with somebody else, or if it's a job situation or real estate, I don't know why it keeps coming with real estate. You kind of want to go into it in the sense of like, you want to tell them what you want, see what they want, and then you got to kind of negotiate it out. Just because it's the Five of Wands showing up doesn't mean it has to be a brutal conflict. Conflict can come in different flavors and shapes, sizes. It's kind of like, for example, if you're like, you know, you're going to move somewhere. You're going to find another house somewhere. You know what you want. You know where you want to go. And this person, you're like, what do you think about where I want to go? And they're like, no, I want to be near the water. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be near the water because there's this problem and that problem. And it's kind of like, well, can we do something like this? Is there a compromise where maybe we could be up on a mountain a little bit where I can at least see the water? Is that a compromise? And you're like, well, I don't really know if I want to be up away from town that far. And it's kind of like working it out, kind of like, all right, what type of compromise can we have? And you're like, well, you know, I saw this one property I liked, and there was a small stream that runs right through it. To me, that's not as bad. Is that enough water for you? And they're like, you know what? Let's look at it. Let's see what possibilities are there. Could I create a water garden through this that's good for the ecosystem and good for the wildlife? Like, is there stuff like that we could do? It's not really what I was thinking, but still it might work. Let's try to look at it together. And you're like, well, that really wasn't my first pick for a property, but if it makes you happy, I probably could change some of these other things to work more the way I want to too. It's those type of compromises, whatever this is, that will get you the ultimate staying power to keep what you have long term. This is more about getting what you want and then keeping it. If you go the other way and you just keep planning and you just keep moving forward and you just keep planning and you just keep moving forward, it'll be good for a while, but I feel like it will have a shelf life. This perpetuates to the longevity that you're looking for. That's the point of this. So you want to work with this energy. I get that whoever this is, be a business opportunity or a person, they have their own ideas and they're looking for something that honors what they want as much as you want them to. There has to be compromise. This energy, ironically, does have boundaries as well. Their boundaries are not as pronounced, whatever that means. Like, can we get more about those boundaries? They're not as pronounced. Not as pronounced. So the World card comes in. The Two of Pentacles reversed. All right. So I'm kind of bothered by the Two of Pentacles reversed because I feel like this is somebody who's not talking about what they want. And like, it's one of those things where I feel like this is an energy. Take it with a grain of salt. You know, it's readings these are for entertainment purposes only and they're general reads, but I'm getting that this is somebody who either doesn't think out what they really want or doesn't really voice their opinion on things easily. This is a problem. Because what happens is this person gets down the road, or if it's a situation, it goes down the road just so far, and because it didn't really think out or didn't express what they wanted, they just get so far and they're like, this is so far off base for what I actually want. That, you know, it's kind of like they're living in the middle of the desert and they're like, I want to live, you know, next to the ocean, and I'm living in the middle of the desert. And then they'll just all of a sudden see it like, this is clearly not where I need to be, and then they'll let go. Take it with a grain of salt. Because I get like the boundaries are there of what they want and what they need, but it's kind of like they might get so far down the road without questioning things, without speaking up, that all of a sudden they just realize I'm completely not where I want to be and I need to change my whole life. If you communicate, if you keep these things going where you what do you want? This is what I want. Do you like that? Because you're like, I want to live in the middle of the desert. And they're like, if you just did it and bought the house, they would move in without question. But if you ask them for beforehand, they're like, yeah, I don't really like living in the desert. It's just not my thing. It's not where I want to be. It's kind of like, it's weird because if you don't put out the question, you don't get that feedback. And I feel like they just keep following what you do, and that's not good. It's not good. This is a problem. Like, to keep this from becoming a problem for you, keep that communication going. Keep asking the questions. Because I feel like this energy is not saying what they need to say. I feel like they're keeping it more to themselves. If you keep pushing forward the energy and keep questioning things and trying to get them to tell their opinion, like, is this where you want to be? if you were going to pick any house you wanted, where would you put your house? If you keep putting out that energy, you will get the truth about where they want to be and where they need to be. I feel like this is a tall order. I don't know. I don't like that when people don't communicate what they want, and then all of a sudden they're just unhappy. I mean, I feel like it's obvious that it's not really fair, but it happens. Seven of Wands and the Emperor. This person or situation may be very guarded. You have to get on terms with this energy to understand what's really going on. You got to really foster that communication. You got to get it going. What is this, the Queen? Queen of Swords. You got to get that brutal communication going. You know, brutal doesn't mean like it has to be nasty. Brutal in the sense of like, do you like this? No. Why not? Because of this. Like, just like taking out their frills. Like, you know, like seafood, for example, for me. Somebody asking me, do you like jellyfish? No. Why? Because it's slimy and gross, and it kicks in my gag reflex just to think about eating it. Not brutal like mean, just brutal like that's why. It looks gross to me. Yeah, I can't do it. Not mean to anybody, just like the bare bones truth. I feel like you'll get with that with this situation and or person, however that works. That's where we want to attain. After a while of fostering this and continuing this and keeping this going, it just creates a life of its own. It should be a natural way that you communicate with the situation, person, however it goes. It will keep you from going towards things that aren't going to sustain the situation. You want to create something that's going to create longevity, that you can keep, that you and whoever, whatever you're working with are on the same page. And they're like, this is how you do it. It's easier for a short period to just do what you want because it seems like nobody's pushing back. But also, if you do that version of this, it's going to have a shelf life and ultimately it's going to leave. So I feel like they're trying to set you up for long-term success. It's weird because it seems like it's the harder road, but also when I'm looking at Taurus's energy, it's kind of like you want something you can keep. You don't want to invest in something, get so far down the road, and then the half of the situation just kind of abandons you. I know you don't want that. So they're saying if you want to keep something, you don't want to have a repeat of something maybe that happened before. This is how to do it. This is how to like make sure like go towards the conflicts, go towards the differences of opinion, and sort it out so that way you can go in the same direction and you can have longevity. Are we good? All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.